Hello, Mystery Crew, and welcome back to Bloody Red Table Talk. My name is Terrell. I am your host, of course, and joining me is my co-host. Introduce yourself, co-host.
I'm Broadus.
Yeah. You said what?
And we're back.
Oh, I don't know what I thought you said. I was like, wait, you said?
Oh, you thought I said?
I thought you said something. Yeah. But so for today's episode, we're just gonna get right into today's episode. This is The Last of Us episode 3. We know we are quite behind in terms of the actual series. The season finale actually aired, I want to say, what, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. And so we're a bit behind, but hey, we're still gonna do the episodes and try to review those on a daily basis to keep y'all updated with the episodes, and there's no reviews for y'all. So we're gonna jump into the top of this episode. Before we get into the top of this episode, actually, we want to give send our condolences to the family and loved ones of Annie. I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm gonna get it wrong. Annie Wershings. She was the original voice and movement actor for Tess in the video games. She recently passed away January of this year. And they did kind of a small tribute in the beginning of the episode, just giving that tribute to her. So just really a condolence to her family and loved ones for going through this tough times. Just thank you, Annie, for everything that you provided for the game and the character Tess, because Tess was a pivotal character for the beginning of the game, for sure. Even throughout the end, actually.
I would say without Tess, I don't think Joel would have done what he did.
Yeah, and I don't think Ellie would have made it that. I'm not gonna try to spoil it, but I don't think. Well, the game been out for a while, but the series is different from the game. So, but I don't think Ellie would have gone as far as she did without Joel. So it's all really from Tess. But we're gonna get to the top of today's episode. In the beginning, we just pick back up with Joel and Ellie. They're kind of like in the Foresty River type of area, where like Tess just basically, died, and they just ran away from everything.
Yeah.
And so we see kind of Broadus gonna be explaining them more.
It's like
the conversation.
It's like a mourning period.
Yeah.
Joel makes like a headstone, not a headstone, but like a grave for in memoriam for Tess. But they have to keep moving, and Joel has to make a stop to get some supplies, and so that's what Joel and Ellie moved to. They moved to gather supplies. If I'm right, they stopped to get supplies first in this convenience store almost. So Joel can't remember where he put his stuff because he stashed his stuff there years ago, and Ellie is looking around for some stuff.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Before we get into that, I actually want to talk briefly about the beginning part before we get to the store. Because there was a point where Ellie, and I thought this was important. Also, I had to talk to Broadus throughout the episode. We just watched the episode to get a recap, at least for me, because my first time seeing it too, because I'm very behind. But there was a point in the episode in the beginning where Ellie was like, I know you mad, but you can't blame me for everything that's happening. Like, you can't use me as the blame for what happened to Tess. Because she was like, you and Tess agreed to do this. So whatever happens is all based on y'all agreeing to do this from the jump. And I was like, that's a little bit of a fair point.
Yeah, it's fair.
She put it like that, but
it's fair.
I just wanted to talk about that very briefly. But
it's kind of her fault though, because if she would have just shut the fuck up, the
yeah,
would have never.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know, but I love Ellie, so
yeah. But yeah, they were in the store.
Yeah, they were in the store. Ellie and Joel split up. Ellie goes down into like this basement, and she is looking for supplies, and then she notices that there's a runner who is pinned down by all this debris. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that, well, maybe it's just in the game, but if you shoot a zombie enough in the chest, it dies. So right. I thought maybe the weight from all of that stuff would kill the zombie. Maybe it's just different in the show. I don't know, but it was cool. Ellie, for some reason, decided to cut open the zombie's head
Yeah.
and see that it's made up of fungus. I don't know why she did that. I'm still trying to figure out that. I don't know. I don't understand her at the moment.
Yeah,
At
it was
that
very
moment,
it was very
weird.
strange. The way she did it too was very strange how she
Yeah.
approached it. And I don't know, for me the whole like the runner being like pinned down by the bricks, it didn't surprise me that it was still alive. Only because I feel like bullets is obviously more of an impact directly to the body versus something. I just feel like it couldn't move. Like it was still alive. It probably been there for so long. It just could not move though. And so it was just there, just sitting there.
Yeah, it didn't even
Can't
have
move.
that much energy. It just was like, fuck, I've been here.
Right.
Like I know I can't do anything. I just don't understand Ellie's okay, given her background and what happened. Spoiler alert for the Left Behind DLC. Zombies are responsible for a lot of trauma in Ellie's life.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand if that's what they were going with, but it just came off as Ellie is psychotic. So I don't know if that's what they were going for, but okay. After that, Joel finds his stuff. He calls for Ellie. Ellie finds a pack of women's products, and Ellie comes up and like, "What took you long enough, fucker?" Stuff like that. Then they leave and they're walking, and Ellie sees an airplane. The airplane, of course, is crashed. Everybody on it is obviously dead. And she asks, "How did the fall happen?" And this is where it's revealed that it wasn't spread through bites initially, like most zombie apocalypse films and stuff go. Like, it's always one person that bites, and then it's just panic, and it's just a continuation of biting. And I guess this is their way of saying that's not realistic enough, because realistically we would all contain everyone and then just kill them.
Right.
So it is revealed that the cordyceps was initially spread through yeast products and flour products and stuff. So bread, cereal, pancake mix. He specifically says pancakes mix because him and Sarah was supposed to have pancakes that morning.
Which is a very, very, very important and really cool piece of detail that they added to that, and kind of a throwback, like the beginning of the series when we first saw the series. It was kind of wild too in this moment because we were seeing Ellie. I don't know, for Ellie, she's so mature for her age, but yet when you really think about it, a lot of moments in this episode, you really saw that Ellie really hasn't experienced a lot. Like there's a lot of things that Ellie is like her first time experiencing. We'll see it later down the episode. We'll talk about that, and her in the car and everything. But like her, just like her first time really seeing a plane, and just being curious, like for something as simple like us, our everyday life, you just see a plane ride by. It's so ingrained in our lives now, and it was ingrained in, it was ingrained in Joel's life before everything and everyone else's life. But really, Ellie's life has always been this. And so it's very trippy in a way to think about in terms of her character. And it almost, for me, it helps me even understand her even more. And we can talk about this a little bit because you said something about this in terms of her cutting open this runner.
Yeah.
Ellie is a lot more, in my opinion, edgy in the series than she is in the game. I feel like in the game she's a lot more lot more like kid and naive in a way. In the game, I mean in the movie and in the show, child, I feel like she's a more she's got a little bit more grit and edge to her.
Something wrong with this little girl.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Ellie in the game, almost at first she talked a big game until she got her first kill.
Right.
And then it was like, oh, this little motherfucker, she unlocked something. Because don't get it twisted, Ellie in the game was a savage at some point.
She was.
Like, at some point she was. But this little fucker, she starts out, I'm going to just cut the zombie open and see what he's made of. But yes, everybody. That's how the infection spread so fast. Joel said if you ate enough yeast products, you'd get sick. So he said what? The stuff hit the shelves by Thursday morning. Some people ate it
Friday, afternoon.
He said people ate it for dinner and then Friday mornings. He said by Friday night, people was getting sick and biting people. By Sunday, everything fell. No, by Monday, everything fell. Everything was done for.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah. Like, imagine that, that's crazy too. And I was telling Broadus when this actually came up, but when we were watching the series, I was like, that's I could see that actually happening. Like, that's very real though. Like, a lot of things, especially like illnesses. I know we tend not to talk about it a lot, but a lot of illnesses I feel like are caused by the things that we eat. And there's a lot of secret things and secret ingredients in the meals and the food that we eat that we think are fine that are not. And I feel like cause a lot of illnesses even now. So like seeing something like that.
Save you, bro. I'm trying to save you now.
What?
You gotta leave it at that.
What? Oh yeah, we ain't gonna say too much about that.
Can't get too deep.
But
just know that
it connected a lot to
it do.
Like real life situations, which I'm enjoying what they're doing.
They definitely don't. They make you not want to eat any type of bread anymore. You want to get a burger after this? Cause I am hungry.
But then we cut to then it's like the plane, and then we're looking at the plane. We're kind of looking like what is it like? She like looks down and she sees a lot of skulls, like dead people bodies and all that, and we see a lot of like just a lot of old and rusting things, and we see like we see like a baby's blanket, and then it kind of cuts from the baby's blanket from its current state to the original state of the blanket, with a baby being wrapped in a blanket, and the women holding the baby. So we see the military taking the people. This is when everything first outbroke. Yeah. I want to say that Monday that Joel was talking about.
Yeah, I would say that Monday.
Or Monday or sometime that week. And you see the military and the government, taking these people that have survived out of this very small, closed off kind of suburban area, and transporting them out of that into safety.
Joel said if the quarantine zone got too filled, they couldn't take new people in, so they would just take them to that little ditch and just kill them. Right.
So then we cut to, and in the middle of this and seeing, the government transport these people, we actually see that Bill is watching them through cameras that he has set up somehow like throughout the area, because Bill has a house in that neighborhood. But Bill has cameras, and he's actually like underneath a underhouse bunker. He's watching everything, and basically Bill, for the better scope of everything, Bill was just waiting for them to leave so he can finally come from under the bunker, because he's hiding out so they won't take him with the other people. And so, everything happens, and people leave, and then we see Bill come out the bunker, and Bill, at this point,
Bill is that motherfucker.
At this point, it feels like it's an 80s movies, or it's something like where it's gonna be like a montage of like a teen movie where you just see like people doing like really crazy shit in a very quick amount of time. You see him. I mean, he's very smart though. Bill is very smart in the things and the resources that he's like taking and the actions that he has taken. Like you see him go to a bunch of stores. Gas, supply up on a lot of things that he's
generators. I'm pretty sure he found them chickens from somewhere. Yeah. They had to have like a truck depot. Mm-hmm. Then he went to Home Depot. He bought all the stuff for the electrics, tools, all that stuff.
Everything that he ever needed for his lifetime, he pretty much grabbed. And I'm sure like there were moments like that we didn't see on camera, but throughout Bill's life, of course, where he was going back because he had such easy access to those things. Yeah. But this is basically just a basic kind of quick way of showing us how Bill kind of had everything set up. And at the end of this kind of montage, we see that Bill has now like a full out security system with like wire gates that will electrocute you. Then he has traps all of outside of the gates. He has traps. He has traps inside of the gate. He has codes to get in. It's like this whole elaborate thing. He got chickens, like you said now, that he's chicken, a whole little farm. He got everything that he needs to live his life for the rest of his life. Like he set everything up, and he's in this small suburban area where the whole area is gated up with traps. It was honestly, it was kind of crazy, but it was kind of really dope to see.
It's like he's like that one crazy person that always thinks the apocalypse is around the corner.
Yeah.
And then it's like when it happens, you're like, damn, I wish I was that person's friend when it was starting.
Yeah. Yeah, because also we see that when we first see his like bunker layer type of thing and under the ground, it's a lot of weapons. Like he was ready for something. So yeah, that shows. So then cut to you know. By the way, I want to say Bill was eating good too. Bill was living the life, y'all. Okay,
pig.
Bill was eating pigs, fresh meat, fresh vegetable. He was eating good. He was living good.
He got half of that meat from. They had to have deer out there. Or
yeah, he was living good. He was living real good. And mind you, all of this took place in 2003. So now we cut to 2007. This is 4 years later. And Bill, so you want to tell him about before let's say that? Broadus, you can go ahead and leave with this one.
4 years later, Bill is, what was he doing? He was eating.
Yeah.
And then he hears this trap go.
No, he was working on something in the shop.
That's right. He was working on something in the shop. He was eating when the zombie came up and they killed him. That was when he first started. So 4 years later, he's working on something in the shop, and then one of his traps go off. And so he goes out there, you know, he thinks it's another runner. So he goes outside with his shotgun. He's like, yep, I gotta do this.
Ready to go.
He cocks the shotgun, and then he hears a voice. I'm not infected, the voice says. And he's like, what the hell? It's a human. So he looks over. He asks, do you have a weapon? The person hesitates. He waits. Then he says, no. And Bill's like, why'd you take so long? Like, me personally, I'd have shot his ass. Because you shouldn't have took that long to answer me.
Yeah, he did take a long time.
Yeah. So that means you lied. You can't be trusted. You gotta die. And then after that, it's revealed that Frank is in the hole.
The trap.
The trap.
Yeah.
The trap is just a deep ass hole.
Yeah.
So Frank asks can he get some help, and Bill leaves, comes back with the ladder, helps Frank out of the hole. It's obvious that Bill just wanted somebody to be around because it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, not necessarily in the beginning, because we see Bill. He does seem to have some sort of he does seem to be hesitant in the beginning. Because even though like he's helping him with the ladder and everything, he still has the gun pointed to him, and he's still very cautious. I mean, you don't know someone in that situation, so
he was cautious, but it was like it seemed like it didn't take a lot of convincing for him to be like, yeah, come on inside my house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he was alone for 4 years at that point, so he was by himself. And, you know, he was living a good life. I mean, good life in those conditions, but
in theory,
I'm sure it was still lonely for him.
In theory, he should have went crazy technically.
Yeah, he probably was.
Yeah,
that's probably why he was like, I just need somebody. So basically, so he finds Frank in the hole. Then Frank is like, hey, can I just get a meal? I'm just hungry. That's all I want. I ain't eaten 2 days. That may not be long to you. It may not sound long, but I just want some food. So he's, after a little while of like convincing, he finally convinces Bill to give him a meal. But Bill also allows him, you know, take a shower and get fresh clothes and everything.
Yeah.
And so we see them kind of having dinner, and Frank is like, this shit's amazing. Bill's giving him wine, fresh food that he ain't having in a long time, like the food, like the
hot shower,
fresh meat, like hot shower, everything. So Frank is kind of like astonished, and so then Frank finishes his meal, and he's like, I guess I should go or whatever. And Bill was like, yeah, pretty much. Without saying it, he just looking at him like, yeah, pretty much. And so then we see Frank like, you know, jump up out of excitement, and he sees the piano across the room. He's like, oh my God, this is like a... He's like, this is a classic. You know how much this is worth? And it was a really good joke. He was like, you know how much this is worth? And Bill was like, well, nothing now.
Yeah,
it was a really good joke.
Now,
he was like, in this world ain't worth nothing. So he plays the piano, and then Bill was like, nah, you kind of playing it wrong. Let me take over. No, but did he say he was playing wrong? I can't remember how.
He said not that song.
Yeah. Not that song. So then Bill took over, and then Bill started playing. And then, you know, we come to find out that they actually were feeling each other more than strangers, more than acquaintances, more than friends, if you get my gist. Then they have this moment where they kiss, and then the kiss leads to, you know, sexual things. They adults, they can do whatever they want to do. Fine. You know, I'm here for it.
Nah, fuck that. Terrell was like, in the apocalypse, yo. He's like, come on, yo.
Okay, look. Listen, I'm queer, all right? So I love the fact that there's a queer storyline in this, a dark queer storyline, because we do get one later on in the show. But it was still strange to me because I was like, why do people always do this in horror situations where they just feel the need to be in a full-blown relationship? I mean, in hindsight, at the end of the day, once everything happened at the end of the episode, I get it. But when they first were doing whatever they were doing, I was like, what? And it was a stranger at that. You literally just met him like 2 hours ago.
Literally. Like, it happened quick.
And they were in love the next 2 hours.
There was no slow burn in the episodes.
But it was very interesting to see kind of Bill in that situation and with this character Frank, because he really let his guard down.
Yeah, a lot.
Because for a while for this episode, we saw Bill kind of, guarded and kind of, he was really, he had a lot of tough skin, so we didn't really get to see him be vulnerable up until that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we go from there, they do the business, whatever. And then we cut to
another time skip.
Yeah, which is 3 years later.
Yeah, so 10 years into the 7 years into the apocalypse.
And yeah, so this is 2010 now.
Yeah.
And so they, Broadus, I want you to explain this because this is.
Let me tell you something, y'all.
Let
me tell y'all something. So after they do that thing, right? It just cuts to these niggas arguing outside. Now, okay, they can argue. You can argue. Lovers argue, obviously. But you want to know what these niggas was arguing about? Gas for a lawnmower and paint. Frank wants to paint, I think, the house, and he wants to cut the grass.
Because Frank is like, look, this is our house. We going to be here forever. We at least make it look nice for us. And Bill was like,
no.
That's stupid. No.
Yeah. He's like, materials are precious. You never know when you're going to run out. See, okay, the paint, for me, I can understand the paint. Like, paint whatever the fuck you want to paint. I don't care.
Yeah, the paint is fine.
But the gas, they have buku generators and they use the shit all the time. Mm-hmm. So, fuck mowing that lawn. Get some scissors.
Yeah, it's very important to keep that generator on.
Yeah, that is very important. Now, paint whatever the fuck you want to paint. Man.
It was I do like that they kept that in there though because it's so.
It was funny.
It's so in a way stupid, but it also keeps the humanity within the show. Like it's not all about because we see so much of the series and even the video game. We see there's so much of this zombie apocalyptic world, and there's so much just.
And everybody's just cold.
Yeah, everybody it's all based on that. So to get another layer of that in such a vastly different experience from just other stories within that world, it brought a lot of humanity and also just variety to the story as a whole.
And then the fact that so after that, he's like, we're gonna have friends, Bill, and Bill's like, nigga, what?
Yeah, Bill's like, we ain't got no friends in this situation.
Yeah, there's no friends. It's just me and you. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure Bill thinks he's the only one up. They're the only ones alive in the area.
Right.
And then Frank's like, well, I've been talking to this nice lady on the radio. And then it literally cuts.
He's like, she's coming over too.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, I've been talking to this nice lady on the radio and she's coming over. Bill says, what? And then it cuts to Joel, Tess.
and fucking Tess with Bill and Frank eating outside on their lawn.
And you know Bill, he don't trust not near one of these motherfuckers. So he got the gun right there on the table with his hand on it.
Right pointed to Joel. Like, listen.
Yeah.
And it's so funny too. It's so I love what they're doing with this because it's so strange to see Joel in this because we've never seen Joel. We've never seen 2010 Joel. We've seen 2003 Joel. And then we've seen 2023 Joel. Yeah. We've never seen 2010 Joel. My cat is on the window, y'all. That's why we're looking this way. We've never seen 2010 Joel. So it's so interesting to see how different, Joel is, every time we see Joel on the screen, different time periods, he is vastly different in terms of his mind. And I made a joke because I was like, because to me, I was like, Joel looks less dirty in 2010. Every time I see Joel, though, even from the jump, Joel just looked dirty. That's just me. He always just looked dirty.
God damn.
He always just looked dirty. So I was like, but it was very, even Tess, it was interesting to see Tess.
Tess with straight hair.
It was very interesting because we see Tess. She was going through it.
When
we first saw.
And she never recovered.
Yeah, and so we see kind of them having this lunch, and Bill was very hesitant on trusting them, and you see Frank is the complete opposite. Him and Tess are bonded, and really you see Joe and Bill kind of at odds in a little bit, but
it's Joe's understanding about it.
Yeah, he understands.
This is a nice place. Anybody could want to take it.
And so then we kind of transition to like the end of this scene, and we see their relationship kind of at a stronger point. I think this is the same day. But it's just showing us that even throughout the same day, their relationship has grown. And it kind of gives us as an audience the indication that their relationship will continue to grow throughout the years. And we also see, during the lunch, Joel is trying to get Bill to let them stay there. And Bill was like, no. And Joe was like, I can give you some stuff for your fence. I can give you a lot of supplies. You might need me more than you think you do. And so, and that's what we kind of see. And I'm sure that they did become friends after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he obviously did need him at points. And then
they leave, right?
Yeah, they leave, and we cut back. Now we go to 3 more years in the future, and this is 2013. And we see Frank and Bill, and they are running and jogging.
Yeah.
And Bill is completely out of breath. Like, he's holding stuff.
Shit.
You know how you so tired, you start feeling shit. You be like, that's how tired Bill is. Yeah. So Bill was like over the running, and Frank is like, come on. And this is a very, I feel like these next 2 scenes in terms of them and their physicalities are very important to the future, but we see them, jogging. You see Frank is kind of like the more athletic one, and then Bill was trying to keep up. And then, Frank surprises him with a garden, and they have this whole moment. It was like, oh, it's fresh fruit. Where Frank just traded in a gun with Joel and Tess to get seeds for fresh fruit. This is my cat, y'all. So we see that moment between them. And then we cut to a night scene where we just hear a bunch of fucking loud noise. And then we hear like a beep beep, security whatever, a trap. Like Broadus said, like a boom, like an explosion. Like somebody is legit on fire.
Somebody got blown the fuck up,
You
guys.
hear multiple gunshots. And we cut to Frank in the bed waking up, startled. And Frank is like, where the fuck is Bill at? Go outside. Bill is already out there doing the business. He already...
Bill probably been up for an hour shooting at these motherfuckers.
Bill was protecting the land because they were trying to. It was a bunch of people actually. Yeah. And they were trying to sneak up at night, and I'm guessing their plan was to kill them and then take over their
stuff.
Yeah, like their whole village that they built. And so, but remember the traps that we said earlier that Bill set. Them traps actually end up killing all of those people.
Yeah. A lot of motherfuckers on fire.
And so it was a lot of people too trying to take their shit, and they killed a lot of them. But throughout that interaction, Bill actually ended up getting shot in the
the side,
the side area. Actually, the area where he was close to the area where he was holding when he was running.
Yeah. Honestly, he only got shot because Frank came on side and took his eyes off the back.
And he got shot because he was distracted because Frank distracted him. And so then we see a moment where, Frank takes Bill in the house and he's like, don't worry about them people. They're going to die from the traps. We ain't going to worry about them. And at this point...
It was a cool moment.
Yeah, it was a very, very good moment. And also, it's very... if we didn't have timestamps and like a time meter for this episode, I honestly would have thought Bill would have died at this point. It was looking like Bill was about to die. But I was like, no, we got like 20 more minutes of the episode. 20, 30 more minutes when he ain't gonna die. But it looked like he was gonna die. And you see Frank kind of giving him this, saving his life basically, and healing the wound. So then, I know y'all, we speeding through this quick, but it's so much that happened.
It's a lot. This is the longest episode of the
season.
It
was the longest episode. Then we cut to 10 years later. So for a long time now, it's been like a little like 4 years, 3 years.
Hold the fuck on.
What?
It's now okay, never mind, that makes sense.
Yeah. So 10 years later, now it's 2023.
I thought it was 23 years. I was like,
what the fuck, bro? This was taking y'all. He's trying to do the math in his head. He's like, hold on. Nope. Okay, so Now we got to 10 years later, and now we're in the current year, 2023, which is still trippy to me. I hate every time they show it on the screen, but
Yeah.
2023, and now this is what I was saying. It was important in terms of their physicality and their health, because I was very shocked, and Broadus can tell you, I was very shocked to see that Frank was actually the one that was dying in terms of
It's
physical
not funny.
health. Like, Frank was in a whole wheelchair.
It's the way they pop back on the screen though, because Frank just was like that.
I got him over here, Alexa.
He just was like this.
He's just like, yeah, he's in a wheelchair, like looking like he ready to die any second. And you see Bill is the one that's pushing him in the wheelchair. So it's I thought, I don't know about you, but I thought it was very interesting to see that contrast, because you would think that Bill
would be the one.
who's actually, especially since the last scene we saw too, Bill kind of blacked out because he from the shot room. So you would think that Bill was the one in that situation, but it actually wasn't. It was Frank. So that was very interesting how they did that.
They never say exactly what was wrong with Frank, but it's implied that it's like some type of cancer.
Yeah, it's some type of illness that he can't, like, you just, because there's no cure for this, so I'm assuming it's like something like, like cancer. And they're very old at this point, by the way. I will also mention that. I want to say when we probably first started it, we don't know their ages for sure, but when, like, 2003, he looked like he was, like, in his 40s or maybe 50s.
Because I know Joel is in his 50s now.
Yeah. So maybe like late 40s, early 50s they were in when they first started the whole outbreak. So now this is 20 years later. So from 2003 to 2023. So say for instance he was 51 when everything started. Now he's 71.
Yeah.
They
look like it.
And it shows, shout out to the fucking makeup team on not only getting these zombies right, but even the humans and their makeup right and making it look so realistic and
shout out to the actors too.
Yeah, for portraying that.
Yeah, especially the motherfucker who played Frank, because that shit was funny to me.
Yeah,
because it's not that. It's just the utter disappointment in his face. Like, yo, I'm really in a wheelchair now, bro. It's not funny, but he
was over it.
Yeah.
So then we cut to, so we just cut to them in old age. We see a lot of them, like, we see a lot of moments of them showing that they're old age, like, just from how their movements to, the way that they act now, older, just a lot of small things, like the wheelchair indicating that he's sick now, he's older. Like, even they had, like, a cup, like I forgot what I called it, like an old man cup. Yeah, old man cup. It's, like, basically, like, it's like one of them cups you see, like, a nursing home or something like that.
Yeah. It's like one of those cups with the lids on it. Yeah. And then they got a straw.
Yeah. And so it was just very small things, but it really helped the audience see how much they have aged, truly.
Bill was still eating solid foods. Frank was eating soup.
Yeah. It was very important, especially in terms of the difference, because as well, when you think about it, Bill was actually older than Frank.
Yep.
And so it's crazy to think, it's just crazy to think, too, like, that Bill was still even doing, like, better.
Just moving.
Yeah, like, in terms of, like, mobility, Bill was better. Yeah. And so then we cut to, there was a scene where they were going to bed at night, and then you kind of see that Frank is having trouble going to bed. Then we cut to the morning, where we see Frank is out of the bed already in his wheelchair, where Bill wakes up, and Bill is, like, kind of like, what's going on?
In the bed.
Yeah, like, in the bed, what's going on? And Frank basically drops the bomb that he made up his mind that today is his last day on this earth. He's like, I'm done. This illness is taking over him. He's like, I can't deal with it anymore. It's too much.
He don't want nothing to do with the illness, the world. He's done. He said, fuck it. I'm over it.
He's over it. And so then we cut to them in the living room, and Bill was very emotional about it. And Frank is like, listen, I get that you're emotional, but this is my last day on earth. I just want it to be a good day. And so.
And the plan.
Yeah, he gave him a plan.
Crush up a bunch of drugs, put it in the wine. I'm gonna drink my wine. He said, you gotta carry me upstairs to the bed, and I'm gonna fall asleep in your arms, and I'm gonna die. Yeah, and he already had the drugs crushed up, actually. So he already had it planned out. He literally just told Bill the plan. Just do everything I told you to do, and we're good. Yeah. So, but he said before then, he was like, I want you to put it in my wine at dinner. But he was like, before then, we're going to go out, have a nice little walk. We're going to have a good day. You're going to propose to me. We're going to get married. We're going to then have dinner. And then after we have dinner, that's when you're going to, do everything, to start the process. And so they actually did do all of that. Bill was very hesitant to do that, obviously, because that's his lover for, over 15 years now. And just someone who he's been living with for a long time now in that situation. So, of course, he's very hesitant to,
in a way kill the person that he loves. So we see them do all these things. So they get married. They go out for final walks and everything together, and then we come to them having dinner, and they had dinner, and dinner is over, and we see Bill with now the wine glass, and the glasses of wine, and he pours the glasses of wine, and they both take their drinks of wine, and we come to find out that Bill actually put the crushed medicine in the entire wine bottle. So not only did Frank drink the wine, but
so
Bill did as well, because Bill poured 2 cups and they both drunk it. So basically Bill was like, listen, I get that you ready to go and all that, but Bill was like, it ain't shit left for me. Yeah, he was like, it ain't shit left for me on this earth. He was like, everything, my life has been fulfilled. He was like, I'm older now. I'm older than you. Bill was like, it's nothing left for me to do on this earth, so I'm going to just go with you. And so, my cat. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so basically, Frank is like, shit, I don't really like what you did, but hey, in a sense, I understand. I get it. So Frank is like, they still go through the plan. Bill carries Frank to the bedroom, and they both lay in the bed, and they go from there. Now we cut to, and they don't really give us a clear indication in terms of timing, in terms of days or weeks in between this.
Yeah, they don't. Which is surprising if you ask me.
Yeah, it's the same year, because we cut to Joel and Ellie now coming to the town where Bill and Frank are at. But they don't, we know it's the same year, but we don't know in terms of timeline when throughout that year they died, and then when they come and visit them, they think they're still alive, because at the end of the second episode we see Tess tell Joel to go visit them.
Go visit Bill and Frank. Yeah,
so they finally go visit them. And now they come to the town, and right off the bat they enter the house. You can tell things are kind of off. Things are very different, especially from Joel's demeanor and how he's just kind of evaluating everything. You can tell that Joel thinks something is off. And we see that the bedroom door is locked. Joel tried to open it, but it's locked. And so then we cut to Ellie at the dining room table. Also, nope. And also, by the way, there are small indications as well showing us that it has been a bit of time in between it, though, because the food was rotted, and there was a lot of flies and everything.
I would say about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was maybe 2 weeks. And so then we cut to Ellie at the table. She's like, there's a letter for you. It's from Bill.
Yeah.
And so then not Frank, what's his name?
Joe
was like, oh shit. Joe kind of gets the idea of what's going on. And so then she reads the letter, and basically in the letter, Bill was like, hey, it was a lot of funny moments in the letter too. He was like, Joe, I know this is you because nobody else can get past my traps. So he was like, if somebody is reading this, it's probably you, Joe.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm dead. We killed ourselves, whatever. And
I've always hated you.
Right, I always hated you, but also love you at the same time.
Yeah, it's some crazy shit. I hate you, but we're friends.
And we see that as Bill's final goodbye in the series.
Yeah.
And we see Joel kind of take that in, which is very very important and critical, because this is now the 5th person we've seen Joel lose, in a sense. We haven't seen Joel lose all of these people on screen, but we did see him lose Sarah. He lost his brother. We cut back to him years later. Him and his brother are separated now, so he's lost that. Not saying that his brother is dead, but he hasn't seen his brother in a long time.
He's seen Sarah down screen.
Sarah, his brother, is gone, disappeared. He doesn't know where he is. Tess is dead now, and now he's seeing 2 of his friends.
Frank.
So this is really a big impact on Joel.
He just sitting there
it's like another one. It's like shit. That's crazy. People that you were been with throughout the years are just gone now, and he's kind of you can see that in his demeanor that he's taken back by that.
Yeah. I think he's really more so. He's like, damn. He's like, out of all the. I think for him it's more so out of all the people, Bill and Frank are gone now. The survivalists are gone.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it hits him. It
hit him real hard. And also in the letter, Bill kind of gives Joe a we are protectors, basically saying him and Joe are the same in many ways, and that they are born protectors, and they really have to really it's their job to protect
whoever
people, protect whoever they're with, until the end. And so that's kind of in a way a foreshadowing for what's to come of the series and what's going to happen later down in the series. So I like that they added that. Then we cut to Joel in the garage. Turns out Bill actually left Joel the car. And he left him keys, so Joel goes in the garage, checks out the car, checks out the car, sees that the car is in good condition, sees that Bill actually had like a whole garage full of like gasoline and parts, new parts, replacement parts, anything really Joel needed for the car.
Yeah.
Bill had it
to
ready.
build like a new battery type thing. That's what Bill had inside the garage, because I think the battery went old. The old one.
It probably was old battery.
Yeah.
He had it for like what, over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gave him everything he really needed to like go and just survive from that. And so
Ellie doing Ellie shit.
Yeah, Ellie doing Ellie shit. Then Ellie's like, well, while we here, let's take a shower. Ellie took a dig at Joel. She was like, especially you. You need a shower.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a funny moment between them. We also saw them, going underneath his bunker and seeing everything with his bunker. And Ellie being like, oh, I want one of these guns. And Joel being like, nope. For some reason, he was like, no, I don't know why.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
You would think that since she's immune, she should have a gun as well.
I'm just not even that. I'm just confused. Why wouldn't he think that having a gun, extra weapons? Because he wouldn't even grab any of the weapons.
He didn't grab anything.
He ain't want none of the weapons. So I'm confused why he wouldn't think that would help.
I get that because you want to travel light. I get that. But just take the shit back to where you put it.
Or you can just take a pistol, simple pistol with some bullets, and you go with that. Because you never know when you're gonna need it.
And obviously they gonna need it.
They gonna need it, definitely. Definitely gonna need it. And then we see a scene while Bill is just, not Bill, Joel is just about done. After he showered and everything, he's getting ready. He's about to come back down the steps. But before he does, we see Ellie looking around the house. And when she's looking around the house, she discovers a hidden gun somewhere. So she hurry up and, pockets it and put it in her bag right before literally Joel walks onto the scene. And so we kind of see, we get a in a bit, I guess, like a foreshadowing that something is going to happen with that gun in the future that Ellie stored away secretly. And then we see them get into the car, and Ellie is shocked to be in a car because, like we said earlier, she's naive to so many things we wouldn't think she was naive to. She's never been in a car before in her entire life.
And it makes you not want to take things for granted anymore either. Like, it's like, damn, that's a car.
And she was very happy about being in that car. And so that was very interesting to see that. And then, they play some music, and it's a really beautiful moment at the end where they play the music, and it's kind of a callback to Bill and Frank in the beginning of the episode with the artist. I think the artist's name was Linda or something like that. I can't remember
I can't remember her name.
The name of
Linda Rashford, something like that.
I'm gonna get it because she was playing the music, and Joel at first was like, turn it off, and then Linda Ronstadt. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it was a song that they were playing early in the episode that really symbolized their relationship. So it was a nice callback to the end of that, and seeing Joel react to that and taking that in.
Was that the song that was playing on the piano?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so then. Yeah, that's basically it. That's the end of the episode. And we cut to a final shot of Bill and Frank's window. And actually, it is revealed in the letter earlier that we didn't reveal just now to y'all. In the letter earlier, when she was reading it, Bill revealed that they left the window open so it wouldn't have any smells, any odors in the house. Yeah. And so it cuts to that open window at the end of the episode, showing us just,
that the window's open, and now
is a new chapter in Joel's life, really. Yep. So we can do an ending recap of the episode. It was a very long episode, I will say, but I did enjoy it. I think it was very much needed.
What? No, you go.
I think it was very much needed. I enjoyed the episode. I actually don't think. I'm trying to find more. In my mind, I'm like, is it too long? But I don't think it was too long. Actually, there were moments that seemed like it was really long, but I think everything they included was for a purpose and was for a good purpose. But I very much enjoyed the episode. A great episode. So far out of the three, my favorite episode, just because it showed a new light to the world that we're so used to. Because, for those who play the game, we're so used to thinking really it's going to be a lot like the game, because we've seen it a lot like the game so far within the series before this episode. So to see something so different yet so still true to the story, it was a beautiful thing truly to see. And to see, a queer relationship again in that type of way was a beautiful thing to see. And to see Bill in a different light, is a really good thing as well. So I enjoyed this. Even seeing Ellie in a new light, it was great for me.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Fucking psycho.
But what did you think of the episode in terms of whole?
Only thing I don't like about it is the fact that, see, I get it. We don't want to follow the game completely. This as a standalone episode, beautiful. I just was upset that
I know what you're about to say.
It kind of took away from one of my favorite parts of the game, bruh. Going through that town, the town hella infected. They run you into a school. Then the bloater comes into the school. I'm not too mad about that because of no spoilers, but later down the line, we do get a scene where it's like, damn, this is great. But it's still, I was like, damn. And in the game, Bill and Frank was always gay. So,
Right.
But I appreciate it for what it was. I appreciate them for taking a gamble and doing something different.
Right.
And I'm glad that they didn't fuck it up. Because there's been times where people do something different and then fuck it up completely. And then you just I can't watch it.
Right.
This was beautiful to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. To me, it didn't feel like it wasn't The Last of Us.
Right.
It still felt like The Last of Us.
But it felt the story felt new.
Yeah.
But it also felt like I was saying, The Last of Us. That's why even I applaud the older, I kept saying too, an older queer relationship. And like you said, they've been whatever in the game.
Yeah.
But even still seeing it on the screen in this type of capacity, and the way that they did it, was really great. I mean, I guess it was a little bit rushed in the beginning, but it makes sense in terms of the actual TV show because they can't have it too drawn out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. They have to keep the story moving.
8 or 9 episodes. So
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and like I said, the episode wasn't terrible. It was actually a very beautiful episode. And it was it's definitely top 4 for me.
Right.
Because later down the line, them later episodes just be like, damn. But it's it's definitely good. It was good. And I've seen a lot of people complaining online about it being woke or whatever the fuck they want to be saying. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, okay.
It was a nice shift in the series. Yeah. It really, there were a lot of things that really set the series apart, but I feel like this episode was the shift that really set the series apart from the game. And I obviously haven't seen the other episodes yet because I'm very behind. But for me,
this is definitely the biggest difference.
Yeah.
From the game.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing I wish was I like the school sequence. That shit was fun to me.
Yeah. I don't know. People always complain though something is woke. Just let them tell a story. It's obviously it's gonna be the same story, but you have to also think people saying it's woke. We are such in a different time than the original game. The original game came out 10 years ago. So even though the world was,
10 years ago,
accepting and this and that, it still things were drastically different within the world accepting the queer community 10 years ago compared to now.
When was gay marriages legalized?
I believe 2014.
The shit wasn't even legalized yet. There you go. See?
I believe. I can't be queer and getting this wrong. You can't just put me on the spot like that, Broadus. You can't just do that.
Cause I'm just saying cause then cause I understand.
2015.
See, in 2013 the shit was not legalized. So at the same time, it's
damn.
This new times. Fuck it.
Damn, my bad. Don't take my queer card, y'all. But
they gonna take that shit.
No, but seriously, it was a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Even seeing
my
cat's going crazy, y'all. I mean, we can end it soon, but yeah, even seeing Ellie and her growth, and kind of just her.
Is she hungry?
I don't know. But all right, y'all, we're gonna end it right here. Episode 3 was a success in our eyes. We still so far in the podcast we have 6 more episodes to go.
I think so.
For those of you probably watching or listening, y'all probably already caught up, and I know y'all gonna be interested in seeing what we got to say and how it unfolds, and I'm for sure interested to see how everything unfolds. They for sure got a season 2.
On the way.
On the way, so that's going to be interesting to see how they do with that in season 2. But yeah, shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone, all the actors, actresses. Shout out to Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett, who played Frank and Bill. But most importantly, shout out to the makeup team for always coming through. Shout out to the design team for always coming through. Shout out to all the really behind the scenes people who don't get a lot of spotlight because their job is hard and they do a tremendous job with what they have. So yeah, shout out to all of them.
They do a good job. They did a good job. The acting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like there's no point where we just like
somebody is lacking. Nobody's
lacking. So
everybody's doing great. Yeah, bravo. But all right, y'all. That is all for this. And we are out. And look at that, the rain light coming out. So look, guess we ain't got no light. But all right, y'all, we out. Bye.